Hey everybody, TGIM, it's Brian. Good morning, happy Monday. I just wanted to share with you guys real quick. I promise this video is going to be quicker than a couple of the last ones that I posted, but I'm reading this book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life by Dr. Daniel G. Amen. And he's a medical doctor, he's a psychiatrist, psychologist, studies the brain, studies what people are doing. And he talks about all sorts of things in that book, as well as some of his other books from, actual medicines and procedures, medical procedures, all the way to supplements and nutrition and the role that they play on the brain and on our lives. And he talks about our thoughts. And he talks about controlling our thoughts and actually thinking about and evaluating our thoughts and how much of an impact that can have on our actual brain's health and in turn on our entire body's health. A lot of people think that, positive thinking and all of that, the personal development and personal growth and all that is a gimmick. But no, this is an actual doctor, as well as other doctors that are saying this has a direct impact on your brain and on, your entire body as a whole, because your brain is the kind of the computer that controls your entire body. One of the things I love, the analogy that Dr. Amen uses, is ants. Think about actual ants, little bugs that crawl around your house, black ants, red ants. The red ants are obviously worse than the black ones. They infest your house, they're disgusting. They're no good. They're a problem, right? They're a pest. He talks about this and he uses the ants as an analogy for our automatic negative thoughts. They creep in, they infest our thoughts, our brains, our minds, and they're pests. They do no good for us. We got to exterminate them. We got to get rid of them. 1 or 2 ants, not a big problem. When you start to see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ants or more, now you got an infestation, right? So he talks about ants, again, automatic negative thoughts, 9 different types, okay? And these are all related. They're all ants. Some of them are black ants, some of them are red ants. Again, the red ants are worse. But the first type of ant that infests our thoughts is the all or nothing thinking. All or nothing. When we start to think about things that are happening around us in terms of all or nothing. It's all good or it's all bad. There's no in between. The second type of ant is the always ant. So obviously this is related, but this is, when something happens once and we go, this always happens. Think about it. Does it really always happen? The third type of ant, focusing on the negative. Maybe we know that it's not all good or all bad, but we're focusing on the bad anyways. The fourth ant is fortune telling. Obviously, that's when you predict the future in a negative way. You don't really know what's going to happen. So why think about it in a negative way, right? So the fifth type of ant, reading from my notes here, here's what I wrote down: mind reading. Similar to the fortune telling, but this is when you think that someone else is thinking about you or about something else in a negative way. You don't really know what they're thinking, right? The seventh ant, guilt beatings, he calls them, when you beat yourself up over guilt in your head, in your thoughts, and in your brain. The eighth type of ant is labeling. It's when you use negative labels on yourself or on other people. I'm an idiot, or I'm a screw up, whatever that negative ant, that negative label might be. The ninth ant, and this is what Dr. Amen says is the worst, the red ant, the biggest red ant of them all, is blaming. Blaming other people for your circumstances and not taking responsibility. Just to sum all these up, there's a great analogy that he uses in the book for the all or nothing ant about a baseball player. A baseball player goes up to bat, he strikes out. He strikes out and he goes straight into all or nothing thinking. The all or nothing ant starts to creep in. He starts to think, I'm a terrible baseball player. I'm the worst. I'm terrible, right? He might have struck out only 1 time out of 10, which would be amazing, right, for a baseball player. But he goes instantly into that all bad thinking. He might tell himself, I always strike out. I always strike out. Does he really always strike out, or is it just, again, maybe 1 time out of 10? He focuses on the negative. He might be a really great fielder, but again, he struck out just that 1 time. He's focusing on the negative. Maybe he even, he knows he's a great fielder. He knows he's not a terrible baseball player, but he's focusing on that negative, that 1 strikeout. Fortune telling. He's telling himself, I'm probably going to get cut from the team. they're not going to let me hit ever again. He's mind reading his coaches and his teammates. He's thinking, they probably think I am terrible. They probably hate me right now. He's thinking with his feelings. He's thinking, I feel like I'm just a terrible baseball player. I feel like everyone, wants me off this team. I feel like I'm just not even cut out to be playing this sport. He's beating himself up with guilt. He's thinking, I should have never even went up to bat in the first place. I should have never signed up for this team. I shouldn't even be playing. He's labeling. He's labeling himself. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot for thinking I could hit that ball. I'm an idiot for taking that last swing. All around, I'm just an idiot. I shouldn't even be here. And the worst one of all is he's blaming. He's thinking, my father should have never made me sign up for this team in the first place. It's all his fault. If he wouldn't have encouraged me to join this team, that would have never happened. I would have never struck out. My teammates wouldn't think that I'm such a terrible person, a terrible hitter, a terrible player, a terrible teammate, and a terrible friend. Why did my dad make me sign up for this team? That's one example where all 9 ants, creep in. That's a serious infestation, and yet it's pretty common if you play baseball. But think about it in terms of your business. How often do you let those negative ants creep in to your business, to your life, to your family? What Dr. Amen talks about in the book is, evaluating those thoughts, right? Stopping yourself when you have that always thought, when you go, this always happens. Think about it for a second. Does it really always happen? It probably doesn't, right? As soon as you invalidate that thought, it goes away. You've exterminated it. You sprayed the raid on it. It's dead. You can move on. Move on to a positive thought. Well, this doesn't always happen. It just happens once. Even the best hitters, strike out, whatever it is, 7 out of 10 times. Exterminate those ants, guys. That's my challenge for the week, for myself, for everybody. Typically when I make these videos, I'm talking to myself, kind of coaching myself here and just letting everybody else listen along. But that's my challenge for all of us this week, is to crush those ants, exterminate them, spray the raid on them, get rid of them, and have a good week. I'll see you guys later.